Well, the gold and silver meeting here in Madrid is important because this is the first major event highlighting the importance of gold and silver as a monetary asset. So I'm very much looking forward to participating in tomorrow's presentation. I think gold and silver are going to rise much further in price, and the reason is very simple. Central banks are creating too much national currency, and this is causing the value, the purchasing power of those currencies to be eroded relative to the precious metals. We're going to see more and more inflation of various national currencies, and in that kind of environment, the price of gold and silver will continue to rise. I don't think that gold and silver are in any kind of a bubble. If you look at all of the valuations of gold and silver on a historical basis in terms of purchasing power, comparison to various national currencies, inflation-adjusted purchasing power, gold and silver are still relatively good value, despite the fact that they've done so well this decade. Gold is up 8 years in a row against the US dollar and has appreciated 16.3% per annum on average against the US dollar. Well, you know, a lot of people say that we're in a deflationary environment because they look at the price of houses coming down, the price of real estate coming down. But what that is, it's not really deflation, it's wealth destruction. You know, it's overvalued financial assets are now coming back to a more realistic price. But the interesting thing is that we're measuring that decline in wealth. We're measuring that wealth destruction with a currency that's being ever inflated. You know, inflation rates in the US are continuing to rise, inflation rates around the world are continuing to rise. So even though asset prices are coming down because of this wealth destruction, we're measuring that decline in asset prices with a currency that's losing purchasing power because of inflation. It's not that gold is climbing, gold is maintaining its purchasing power. And as an example, an ounce of gold today purchases the same amount of crude oil it did 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. The price of crude oil is not rising, it's the purchasing power of national currencies is declining.